What's good? This your boy, live and direct, in absolute full effect, Dr. 832. Y'all already know how Jimmy J Smooth do. We got a special live stream tonight at Friday right now. And I'm with my boy live and direct with Craig. We finna talk about college football, the NBA, college basketball, and a few other social issues as well as a few personal issues. So without further ado, what's popping and what's dropping, Craig Smith?
Man, not much, Jimmy McWright. As you know, as everybody know, I have my own live stream that Jimmy's a co-host on called "Let's Draw on Something." And people who know me know me. And if you don't, I'm Craig Smith II, born and raised in 773. We located to the 901, and will not be taking too much shit in the 256. So without further ado, and let me apologize in advance to your listeners, Jimmy, because if they hearing beep, beep, beep and little kids running around and traffic and stuff are flowing, if you will, and all that other good stuff, I am currently out and about getting me some little smaller groceries in the neighborhood Walmart, since Kroger is too far of a walk for me. So the neighborhood Walmart is closer. But without further ado, bro, what you want to talk about?
All right. So, we're going to talk about college football, college basketball, as well as the NBA and other issues out there in live and direct. You know what I'm saying? So, spit from the Survivor Scrolls, man, and go on and get it started, baby.
Man, well, first off, man, big disappointing news for you Kansas Jayhawk fans out there. Bill Self has been dry snitched on by Adidas. That's right. Bill Self has been dry snitched on by Adidas, as it has been revealed that he paid a player that is currently on the roster. He and an assistant coach had made a payment for this player on the roster. Now, to my understanding, Kansas may be facing some NCAA sanctions, man, and that's not good. They ain't facing no NCAA sanctions in almost 30 years or something like that, since the Larry Brown era. So, and we're gonna have to give a big shout out to former Kansas Jayhawk who never got a chance to play, Billy Preston. A big shout out to his mother, who I follow, who follows me, and I follow her on Twitter. She called that shit. She was right about it. She was so right at the fact that was going to happen. That Bill Self was there was a whole lot of shit going down with Bill Self, and she was right. So, I mean, and when you think about the last name Self, okay, Self, code for selfish, selfless, but Bill Self, he's all about himself. So I can't say that, hey, I can't take up for anybody for any coaches that do any wrongdoing. In fact, all coaches been doing some little wrongdoing for years, whether it's college basketball, college football, or whatever. They've been doing some little fuck shit for years. And finally this fuck shit caught up to them. And it took one of the school's major supporters, Adidas, to drop the dime on them. So I would say that I'm glad, but hey, I had to come to an end sooner or later,
Yeah, nothing lasts forever. So I'll definitely say that nothing lasts forever in terms of they bitch asses. And guess what? I'm loving every minute of Kansas. You know what I'm saying? Loving every minute of this. The way they did Billy Preston, ran him out on the rail. And unfortunately, you got a few Memphis players on that team that I would like to see do.
All right. Yeah.
At the same time, you know what I'm saying? In the same token, old boy's on some fuck shit, and he needs to be punished to the fullest extent of the NCAA rules and stuff like that. So it is what it is in that.
Yep.
So what else are we gonna talk about next, brother?
Well, not too much with college football, man. Matter of fact, I told a damn lie. Man, there's trouble in the water. There's trouble in the cooling waters down there in Athens, Georgia, man. Kirby Smart has slick called out his offense twice in his own way. So Georgia fans, they're really ticked off right about now at the fact that Justin Fields, who was the number one quarterback last year that made Georgia's recruiting class number one, has not started. Oh, well, matter of fact, I take that back. He has started. He started in one play, and that was on a quarterback run play, which he didn't have no business being in. And a big shout out to my boy Jacquez Green. What's up, dog? Big shout out to my boy Jacquez Green, who tweeted who I follow on Twitter. He tweeted, he's like, okay, you don't want, okay, Fromm is falling in offense, but you're going to put Justin Fields in the run. What sense does that make?
That's make
Man.
real sense as well, as far as that is concerned. I guess they got the curse of being the number one recruiting class in the country, because only in his second year at Georgia he obtained the number one recruiting class, and that's a lot of responsibility to handle here, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy with that situation. So, how's your Alabama Crimson Tide doing so far? And what is the situation with in that injury? Is he going to be out for a bit?
You said what now, Jimmy? Because some fool blasting they little some guy just drove past me blasting his little weak ass factory speaker. Now, what you was asking me?
Okay, I was asking about Alabama situation with Tua. What's popping and what's dropping with our boy Tua at Alabama, being that he's doing real good?
Tua's gonna rest because it's his knee. So more likely Jalen Hurts may start, but you never know. Nick Saban may put Nick Saban known to smoke screen a lot of shit. So, but I'm gonna bet the farm and knowing Pruitt, he probably gonna prepare for Jalen Hurts. But let's just face it. Tennessee fans, y'all are not back because y'all beat Auburn. Y'all are not back because y'all beat Auburn, because y'all can get your asses whipped by Alabama. And by the way, Auburn, they have been a major disappointment for me through the years, Jimmy. Matter of fact, not just for me, but for everybody in college football, because Gus Malzahn has been sickening. Gus Malzahn refuses to change his offense. He gets a fucking quarterback from Baylor and shit, and the guy doesn't do shit. I mean, I'm seeing more 70% run and 30% pass in the offense that Malzahn refuses to change. Now, call me crazy if you want, because if Auburn has a losing season, you best believe that Gus Malzahn is out the door. And I'm going to tell you the guy that they're going to pursue. Get ready for this now. Get ready to hold your bottom jaw. There's a guy that's currently in Florida who was Nick Saban's offensive coordinator.
Yes, sir.
By the name of Lane Kiffin. I think Lane Kiffin will be the perfect fit for Auburn. You want to know why? Because he's going to go out and get his damn quarterback. He's going to go out and get the wide receivers. He's going to recruit a damn good offensive line and everything. Whoever he get as the defensive coordinator, he's going to tell the defensive coordinator, hey, you recruit your defense. I really think if Auburn throws some money Lane Kiffin's way, Lane Kiffin coming back to the SEC, man.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's possible, but my recommendation is he need to stay right where his happy ass is at, because
true.
I think he got a good thing going on at Florida International.
Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic. I get those two motherfucking schools mixed up. Florida Atlantic. He's got a good goddamn thing going at Florida Atlantic. So he need to stay right where his ass is at, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I mean, but if he turned it down, that's good reason. But like I said, but some way, in some shape or form, Lane Kiffin gonna come back to the SEC. So. But I don't know. But like you were saying, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Georgia. I still say Georgia will make a playoff, though. Call me crazy. And then just found out that Joey Bosa's little brother, Nick Bosa, he done dropped out Ohio State, and he said he's going to declare for the draft after he rehab his abdominal injury. So I don't think that's a good idea on his part. But you never know. Because maybe he need to make him a little bread or something. Like Tim Tebow said, he said, I can't knock him. You can't knock him for what he decide. But it is what it is. And I got to commend Tim Tebow for saying something like that. Now, and then speaking of Tim Tebow, his employers, ESPN, I'm done. Only time I would deal with ESPN is if I can find a damn good college football game that's on. Okay, I don't fuck with them on SportsCenter. I don't fuck with them on First Mistake, or nothing like that, because what they said about it, because they're gonna say some little fuck shit about Justin Fields, talking about the reason why Kirby Smart ain't start Justin Fields because Justin Fields not ready. Here's a question: how the fuck y'all know? Okay, you don't know what the fuck that coach gonna do. Because
I totally
if I was Kirby Smart, I'd tell him, I say, hey, y'all don't know what I'm gonna do. So who is y'all to say? I understand it's your job as a media, but answer this one question. I want some straight up answers. Who is y'all to say what I'm gonna do? If I was Kirby Smart, I'd be like, man, are y'all in my mind every day? No, you're not.
Yeah, I agree. You got a motherfucker goddamn point, bro.
Hell, who is this?
You got a motherfucker with a point, and that's the thing I don't like about ESPN. It's a lot of fucking politics with ESPN.
Yep.
They just get on my last motherfucking nerves. They get on my
dude, they got on again. Shout out to my boy Jacquez Green. You can follow him on Twitter at Jacquez Green, who's probably offensive coordinator in the football game right about now, but I give him a shout out. He even said about with Oklahoma, we was talking about something about with the playoff, because ESPN was talking about they already predicting Notre Dame gonna be in the playoff. It's too damn early. So we talked about it. I told him, I said, well, you gotta think about it. I said it was last year. ESPN was riding Oklahoma's nutsack, and so many words. And he said, and old Jacques said that he said, hell, Kirk Herbstreit was in love with Baker Mayfield. I said, yeah, the man had the biggest man crush from that man.
Yeah, the dude need to cut that shit out with Baker Mayfield. He acted like a little hoe with Baker Mayfield, man. Real talk, man.
Yeah, he did, bro. Because let's face it. See, Kirk Herbstreit was a hell of a quarterback too, but he couldn't beat the SEC. So,
oh yeah, for a long time, Auburn hadn't really beaten the SEC. Not officially, because of course, whatchamacallit beat Arkansas, but how that was. That really didn't count and shit like that. But it's. With Kirk Herbstreit though, man, Kirk Herbstreit always hyping up these putty patroller ass quarterbacks, man, and it is fucking sickening, dude.
Yeah,
it really is, dude.
Him and what's his name, Todd Luganbill, and see, Todd Luganbill was a quarterback at Georgia Tech, and I remember I made a Twitter response. Did nobody catch on who I was talking about? I said, I'm sorry, but the other dude that's with Herbie. Who is he to judge? Who is he? I was talking about Todd Luganbill. I said, who is he to judge about a quarterback? I said he came from offense in which the quarterback rarely passed. I'm just saying. So he graduated from Georgia Tech. He was a quarterback. So, but yeah, I don't fuck with ESPN too much on shit. That's why I told my boy, big shout out to Trey Murphy. I told him, I said, man, if you want to watch find some really damn good games on, put it up on Fox Sports or CBS Sports Network. You're gonna find some really good games. Cause shit, ESPN, like I said, ESPN be with that pistol play pussy ass politic bullshit all the fucking time. So
I agree. I agree, man. Dude,
undisputed is undisputed. First mistake has always been the first mistake. Just because they moved to New York, that don't mean shit. So
yeah, they lost their fucking mind. Undisputed. They need to be called
They need to call what?
They need to be called. They need to. Man, I can't even think of the name for them bitch ass motherfuckers. I just get undisputed. I'm getting them mixed up with First Mistake. My bad.
Yeah,
Undisputed.
bro. I'm like, wait a minute. I know you ain't saying for undisputed. Sorry, man, because Shannon Sharp tell it like it is, though.
Yeah. I'm about to. Yeah, I'm getting. Yeah, that's how much I hate Stephen A. Coons, by the way, man. But,
Yeah, and he and I share a birthday, by the way. So,
oh fuck Stephen A. Stephen A. can suck a tired dick for life. But man, what's up with the fucking Memphis State Tigers blowing that 20-point lead versus UCF and then losing the fucking game? I mean, what the fuck is going on with Mike Norvell, man?
Well, Corey, big shout out to Corey Wolf, by the way, who we need to get on the show. Corey said, my boy CW told me, man, that he watched the game. They got a lot of, Mike Norvell, he did something good. Then, as always, he does classic Mike Norvell. His game planning was good, which was, running the ball. In order to slow down, I always call it the Parcells rule. To slow down a high octane team, run the ball and hold it and hog that clock. Okay. Now, Jimmy, I'm a stat guy. I looked at the stats. Memphis dominated every fucking category. Time of possession. They dominated the time of possession. Now, old boy, the running back almost had 200 yards rushing. Okay, but classic Norvell, he got fucking conservative trying to run the ball. And CW told me that he's not a fan of this quarterback that he got because he's not athletic. He can't run worth a damn. So you got to fault that on, I'm gonna compare. I hate to compare it like this. I compare it to a playoff series in hockey that I was watching 18 years ago. The Dallas Stars against the Colorado Avalanche. The Dallas Stars dominated the whole fucking playoff series, but Colorado went on and won the series.
Yeah.
Memphis dominated every category there was against UCF, but but here's the problem. It's Norvell, man, because he's too fucking conservative. And now you got to play Missouri, who I'm pretty sure is pissed off after getting beat by Alabama. Because like I said, 4 losses is on their resume right about now, man. And Norvell need to hurry up, give it the fucking program, and change his goddamn ways. I like the fact that, Memphis, they went from being in that Chuck Stobart old school shit to like hard-nosed defense, score less points, and all the other shit. Fuente changed the game. These suckers putting points up on the board. But see, here's the difference between Fuente and Norvell. Fuente is a deception coach. He gonna make you think he's sticking to a game plan, but he turn around and gonna pull some other shit on your ass. See, that's what I like about Fuente. Even though when he first got there, he was old slick old SOB on a lot of shit, keeping mum about a lot of shit. But he warmed up and changed his ways, and look where it got him. Got him in Virginia Tech. If Norvell want to go to a power school, he gonna have to change his ways, man. Straight up.
And that's why Norvell need to stay at Memphis. That's one of the reasons why I said Norvell needs to stay at Memphis. It's simply because of his bullshit he does at Memphis. You don't need to rush into a University of Arkansas job. He doesn't need to rush into a Auburn University job. You don't fuck it. If Tennessee got another head coaching opening, he don't need to rush into that fucking job. So with him, he don't need to fuck with that shit. He needs to stay at Memphis for at least 5 more years so he can learn football. Goddamn it! I mean, he needs to get better as a head coach, man. Real talk, man.
Yeah, he really does, man. And it's just some of the shit that he does. Now, I will admit, his play calling be good with some of the formations that he come out with and shit, but he's too fucking conservative. Let me put it like this. Mike Norvell, Willie Taggart. Enough said. So, because Willie Taggart, he's a little bit too conservative as well. Yep. But they had it won. Memphis won the stats, but You know, like I said, you got to compare that to like I threw out that hockey comparison. The Dallas Stars dominated every. No, I had it wrong. I stand corrected. The Dallas Stars went on to beat the Colorado Avalanche 18 years ago in that playoff series, but the Avalanche dominated every category in the whole series, though. Points, goals, and all that other crap. Point is, hey, you can dominate every stat in the game, but if you didn't win that game, can't say shit.
Yeah, I agree, man. I totally agree, dog. So
You know? So, I mean, shit. Yep, but see, we done with the college basketball, we done with the college basketball, football, and all that other stuff. I've been catching some little pro games lately, man. I have seen. I couldn't help myself. But your boy Tom Shady made a good quote on something, dude, and I want to know if you agree with him on it. He said something about that today's NFL game. He said today's NFL is nothing more than an advanced version of the college game. He said because when you look at every team in the NFL, they running the same. They always running the same offense that every college team in NFL. And Tom Brady gave an example. Tom Brady gave a good example. He said, you know, I would say Sean McVay runs an offense similar to somebody in college. He said, but Sean McVay is a different breed of cat. That's a lot of respect right there. Because Sean McVay is the different breed of cat offense. You can't copy off of him. He said something about that. He looked at something what the San Diego Chargers run, and he compared that shit to what Notre Dame would run. They basically run the same. They basically run the same shit. So that I said, well, yeah, Tom Brady ain't telling no lie because that's all NFL league. NFL is a Me Too league. It's a copycat league. Everybody had to have the pistol formation. And let's do a little history lesson here. Jimmy, you might not have noticed, but you know, the pistol formation, yeah, Chris Ault brought it. Yeah, they all say that Chris Ault created it years ago. No, Chris Ault, former Nevada coach, now Nevada, University of Nevada athletic director, just brought it back. Jerry Glanville introduced a form of the pistol when he was the coach of the Houston Oilers.
Yeah.
He was the first one. So, and now he's the defensive coordinator for the Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Jerry Glanville was the first one to come out with the pistol formation. Chris Ault just brought it back. So every formation that you see, like, you know, RPO, the run pass option. Okay. I don't know. You say you're a Cowboys fan, right?
I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm a Titan, but no, like I say, I'm protesting, so I'm not watching.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, fuck the Titans. Let Marcus Mariota get sacked 11 fucking times like that. But anyway, I mentioned Dallas because 10 years ago, Jason Garrett was Dallas's offensive coordinator when Wade Phillips was the coach. Okay. The shit that everybody that you seeing now with all this RPO and shit, Dallas was running that shit 10 years ago. Jason Garrett brought that RPO into the league 10 years ago. You know, but everything. See, this will kill me. Everything that was new back then and it's brought back out now is new to everybody now.
It is. I agree.
And you know, and it you know, like I said, Glanville created the pistol. Jason Garrett was the first coach to bring the RPO offense into the NFL back 10 years ago when everybody was still traditional based. You know, now we looking at NFL today, it's like, hey, you're gonna have more records being broken, passing records, rushing records, receiving records, and all that shit. Okay, but what about the defense? You know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is this stuff is just for things that was already made in the 60s and 70s. A lot of your passing offense in college and in professional sports, they were made in the 50s, 50s and 60s. You know what I'm saying? They just turn it right back around. So it is what it is.
Yeah, because when you said something about like 50, 60, 70s, man, I don't know if I shared this with your listeners or on the Double J Smooth on the Double J Network and on my podcast, but did I ever tell you that my pops had almost made the Cincinnati Bengals team that was coached by Paul Brown when he got out of 9?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he cause said when he got out, he wanted to try out for Kansas City, but the trials for Kansas City were booked. He wanted to play for the Chiefs. So he went on ahead and tried out for the Cincinnati Bengals under Paul Brown. Okay. And he was saying that now I'm sharing a story time with y'all, with your listeners. And from what he was saying about Paul Brown, he said Paul was as cool as shit because he said Paul did not acknowledge color. He said he didn't care if you was black, Hispanic, mixed race, anything like that. Excuse the dog. Hush. He didn't care if you was mixed race or anything. As long as you went out there and played and you tried hard to make the team and did your best, that's all that mattered. You know, he was the last guy to get cut because his position was going to be defensive back.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I mean, yeah, a 5'9" guy, a guy that's 5'9", 175 pounds at the time, he was going to be a hard hitting defensive back. But Paul had to cut him because he said, I remember the words my pops told me. What Paul told me, he said, "Well, Smitty, I like how you go out there. You got what you do out there. You improvise on the fly. I like that." Said, but yeah. I hate I gotta cut you. And he Pops was like, I understand. He shook his hand and Paul Brown hugged him, and he went on back to. But he said they took care of him though, man. They gave him a plane. They gave him a ticket. I think he said it was a plane ticket back to the shop. So, because he had something to fall back on, because he started working for Shaw's Furniture, and then years later, when I was born, he had to take 2 jobs because he worked for Pops worked for Zenith and Shaw. Zenith is the TV people because he was putting together TV.
We used to have Zenith TVs all in the house, so yeah.
Yeah, so he would put them together, kind of support help support my moms and stuff. So, but yeah, man, I mean, because Paul Brown, I mean, hey, yeah, Bill Walsh, he did invent the West Coast offense. It was up in Ohio, okay, but it's known as the Midwest offense. And shoot, like Jimmy, like you said, every offense that we see in now, it's really not new to us when you study it.
Yeah. Because really, the West Coast offense is really the Air Coryell offense, if you just want to be honest with you. It's just the only difference between the Air Coryell and the West Coast is West Coast doesn't have too many shotgun formations. They probably got a handful of shotgun formations, whereas
like one back formation. So
basically, yeah. So that's all that is and stuff like that. And the running backs are more involved in the passing offense in the Air Corps and in both systems. So yeah, it is what it is, though.
Okay, well, let me ask you this little quick toss-up question here. If you were to be coaching, what would you pattern your offense from? The Bill Walsh West Coast or the Air Coryell West Coast?
I would have to go with Air Coryell because I feel like in today's NFL, the West Coast offense have become predictable in certain aspects. So you're gonna have to mix it up a little bit these days because like every other team in football was running the West Coast offense. You had the Seattle Seahawks that was running it. Andy Reid is a disciple of the West Coast offense, but he changed with the times. I mean, he's known for adjusting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Packers running the Air Coryell. I mean, not the Air Coryell, but the West Coast. You had some of everybody. The Oakland Raiders. John Gruden is a disciple of the West Coast offense. So everybody was contesting the market of the West Coast offense so much to where defensive teams was able to game plan around the West Coast offense. So with that, so
yeah, and then Gruden, he ain't faring too well right now in the NFL. He getting a lot of shit talked bad about him.
To me, he got that good old boy vibe in my personal opinion, and I think his style of coaching worked in his era, but now that style is not working. Now you got a whole nother group of guys that ain't putting up with that shit no more. So it is what it is. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, if I had a choice, I'd go with Eric Coryell myself. But if I'm gonna have a high octane offense, I need to have a high octane defense to complement it. So, and that was the bad that, and see, that was the knock on the Eric Coryell and the Bill Walsh West Coast. See, because when Bill Walsh had the West Coast offense, he always had a top 5 defense. Okay. Coryell, he stayed having a bottom 5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna go ahead with the Bill Walsh shit because if I know I got a quarterback that can't throw it down the field, short passes turn into long yards. So I'll go with that because of the fact that Bill Walsh's West Coast system always had a hard hitting defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm still protesting, NFL, but I'll admit, Jimmy, I will sneak and watch the Packers. I mean, because if it ain't nothing else on Sunday, I'm gonna have television on the game.
I sleep through Sunday, so I mean, I just don't have a feel for football because the way I look at it is, if you don't give a damn about our people and you trying to make rules against the Constitution, fuck you. Violate people's constitutional amendment. I don't need you. I'm gonna wait till the next football league come around and see what they gonna do. If they on that bullshit, I'm protesting their whole asses too, and I'm pissing on all the uniforms as well.
Damn.
So, fuck them too if they on that bullshit. But until then,
first
football or Canadian football at that point. So it is what it is.
Yep. All right, man. Got a backlog couple questions here. Viewer questions. Because it's a merger of both Jimmy J. Smooth and Craig, and let's draw on some with Craig Smith. Questions. The first one comes from Eliza. Not Elijah, Eliza in Memphis, Tennessee. All right. She said, "Hello, Craig. Hello, Jimmy." She said, "I recently have been getting caught up on most of Craig's Let's Draw on Something episodes, and something had caught my ear. He had mentioned about he had mentioned about at the time when he was at FedEx about all the stuff that he went through, and then Jimmy had mentioned something about about him leaving FedEx, but Jimmy never mentioned the reason. So I want to know." So she was asking this. She said, and with ending the question, I would like to know from you two guys, what was the key moment that made you guys leave FedEx? Meaning, let me put it in a good way, Jimmy. You got a plastic explosive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But that plastic explosive ain't gonna explode without a detonator. So to make the simple question more simplified, she want to know what was the detonator that made us decide to leave FedEx.
That's probably a two-part question. Well,
You said what now?
That was a two-part question right there for me, because my intention was when I came down to Houston, I was planning on moving on up in the company as far as driving for FedEx. And it would have took me a minute to drive FedEx anyway. And
right.
Then, number one, I transferred my job to Houston, which is why I'm in Houston. That's number one. first and foremost. Second, I planned it on staying at FedEx until either I got my CDL, or I was gonna stay out here in Houston because things are a lot easier, in my personal opinion, in Houston it is in Memphis Hub. Memphis Hub, you see a lot of shit that goes on. So either I was gonna be a driver or try to go into management. And management at FedEx outside on the outskirts of the Memphis Hub is a lot easier, in my personal opinion. But
yeah,
I left FedEx not because of a conflict. I left FedEx because when I came out here, I was living in South Houston trying to make it to work all the way on the northwest side of Houston, which takes approximately 40 damn near an hour from Houston. Now, anybody that's from Houston, you drive at least, the average person in Houston drive at least 15 miles from their job in Houston, because you're talking about a 650 square mile city, metropolitan, 650 square mile city, a 10,000 plus square mile metropolitan area. You know what I'm saying? So everything is fucking spread it out here. So I couldn't afford it at the time. I was just catching the bus. So with me catching the bus from South Houston to northwest Houston, excuse me. For me catching the bus from South Houston to northwest Houston, that's some far ass shit to be dealing with. So for me, I had to give up that job just because of that. I had to give up FedEx because it would have been a situation where it would have been too much. And then I was already late 1, 2, 3 days in a row. And then I couldn't make it to work a few times. So I was like, you know what? I have to give up this job because I'm inconveniencing FedEx, because I just transferred from Houston. It was a motherfucker in the bitch, and I did not want to waste the woman's time fucking off. And then I felt like I was in the right job market being in Houston, because jobs are much easier to come by in Houston. So it was a situation to where it was a lose-win situation as opposed to a lose-lose situation if I had been in Memphis. But I left the Memphis area, or FedEx Memphis, because I wanted to get the fuck out of Memphis. That was the reason why I wanted to leave Memphis. But the thing is, I would have stayed at FedEx. That's the thing. It ain't nothing against FedEx, because FedEx is one of the best places in terms of benefits. The thing is, if you're in the Memphis World Hub, you see a lot of bullshit. You see a lot of shit out there. You know, so it's real crazy. But once you get outside of that Memphis thing, outside of that Memphis corridor, I think it becomes a lot easier for a lot of people, because I've known managers at FedEx, especially on the night crew, that have left Memphis, went to other cities and got management positions and came back to Memphis because they wanted to stay near Memphis and shit like that. But if I was them, I would have stayed my ass wherever the fuck I was at, because that was the dumbest shit they could have ever did. I'm just keeping it 1,010, because there's no way I would have had a management position in New York City, been able to live up in New York City and come back to raglass Memphis. I mean, there's no way in hell. I mean,
common sense.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I would go back to that shit. So it is what it is. So it wasn't a matter of me getting tired of FedEx. It was a matter of a situation to where I had to leave FedEx, and I did not want to put myself in a position to where I may need FedEx in the future and get that thing where you can't come back to Memphis. Because if you get fired at FedEx for anything, that the manager that fires you have the option to say, are you eligible for rehiring? That's the thing. They have that option. And if you're not eligible for rehired, I don't give a damn. It's 20, 30 years down the line, you're not getting rehired at all at FedEx. You know what I'm saying? There are exceptions, but you got to know too many motherfuckers to go through that channel. So it was my best bet was to resign. And that's what the lady told me. And that was unfortunate for her, because I transferred to this motherfucker. But I was going to be more of a nuisance to her by just being out because I can't make it to work and I'm so motherfucking far from this. Because there was no excuse for that. Let me just keep it 1,000 a kid. That was no excuse. I should have did more research in the city. But the fact of the matter was, I jumped to the gun to leave Memphis to Houston, and that was kind of like a mistake I made, because if it was my choice, I would have still been up there. I would have moved up in the company and did what I needed to do to make life easier on me. But instead, I wanted to come to Houston so bad to where I forgot about my for show money. Well, Houston is for show money anyway, because you can get a job any time. It's just when you get a job out here. But if it was up to me, I would have stayed at FedEx. I would have been making that $18, $17, $19 an hour as a driver, and probably would have been at 25 right about now. But it is what it is. It ain't nothing against FedEx at all. It's just for me, I just wanted to get the fuck out of Memphis. It was more so a get the fuck out of Memphis thing than it was leaving FedEx. You know what I'm saying? But for me, leaving the Memphis hub, it was time to go out of Memphis, period. And I didn't want any remnants of Memphis, period. But like I say, with me being in Houston, I would probably still be there because it's a lot of opportunities at FedEx once you leave the Memphis World Hub, and that's a major problem. And I tell anybody from Memphis, explore your options to leave FedEx from the Memphis hub, because you'll notice it's a lot easier. My brother is considering it, but he has to do his 5-7 years as a aviation mechanic. I think he's going to go to San Antonio and stuff like that, which is not a bad idea. San Antonio is a family-oriented city. So I hope that answered the question right.
Okay, yeah, but she was asking both of us.
Yeah, she was asking. Well, that answered. That answered my version of the question. But you go right ahead, Craig.
Yeah, mine. As I shared what reason why I left FedEx, I had gotten hitched, but the detonator for that. Jimmy, do you remember back on the story on July 2014 about a young man getting killed out there?
Yeah.
Okay, that did it. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because and people probably gonna say, "Well, the creator ain't had nothing to do with you." I'm gonna tell you, yeah, it don't. But when you think about it, why would you want to be associated with a company that just basically letting the murderers of that young man still work there? And Jimmy, you said it yourself. It's a lot of bullshit out there that Memphis hub, man. I mean, everybody all in your business and stuff like that. And it's a question. It's another FedEx question there about me. There's regards to me in a minute. I'm gonna go into thorough detail about that one. But that really was the detonator that started it all, because you got to think to yourself, okay, I really gonna have to watch my ass out here when I'm loading up these planes, or if I'm on the load or whatnot, this and that, When that young man got killed out there, when he got crushed under that loader, and the load team were under investigation, because whoever was operating the loader, there was a whole bunch of other people that had it in for them, I'm not cool with a job letting murderers get away scot-free like they ain't did shit. That was the detonator. That was the detonator that really had me want to leave FedEx, which I did. I left FedEx in a mental state, because it's no way in the hell, a job gonna constantly bombarded by saying that it's still currently under investigation. That's not a good look at all. Okay. It's not. And I really hated, and what pissed me off about this, Jimmy, was I really hated it for the young man's family, because they deserve the justice they wanted to deserve and shit like that. FedEx talking about, well, we'll offer to pay for your funeral. I'm like, hell no, that's hush money. And then the old young man's mama posted up on Facebook talking about some, oh, well, we ain't gonna try to have her sign a cease and desist letter and some shit like that. And she just came out with it and told us, no, you killed my son. You killed my son. That's it. But that was the detonator about me. And plus, I was ready to get the fuck out of Memphis like you. So, because, you know, really and truly, man, people in Memphis don't want to advance.
Yeah. Yeah.
They change.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, and then I had some coon ass heifer. I can't even think of that motherfucker's name. But she was talking about that he put himself in that position to get killed. She said something to that effect, but she may as well have just said that shit. And I blocked that bitch off Facebook.
I know what you're talking about because she was in the group.
Yeah, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
And this is what
I'm talking about. Well, I know exactly what the fuck you talking about. Yeah.
And that really pissed me off, and I stopped fucking with her. At first, I was cool with her, but I can't co-sign a man that went through hell trying to get his fucking kids, raise his fucking kids. Stop to see their fucking dad die like that. A man, I mean, and I didn't have the best relationship in the world with this dude. You know, it was kind of like an aloof relationship. He was cool in my book, but it was more like an aloof thing. So my thing is, I respect any man that'll step up to the plate and take care of his kids. And for them, dad and somebody say some cool ass tap dance and shucking and jiving shit like that to talk about that, man, bitch, be gone. Kill yourself. You should have been under that motherfucking plane and died. Yes, I said that shit. Shit. For you to say that goddamn cool ass shit, you know, when have you raised all your kids by yourself? Last time I checked, you got multiple baby daddies up at this motherfucker. Yes, I said that shit. You should have been the one under that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know the dude like that. But don't sit up there and tap dance and buck your eyes for some shit like that. The guy did not deserve to die. And then for FedEx to have all those motherfucking cameras in the World Hub, you got so many motherfucking cameras up in that bitch. But you choose to let crimes go down. You choose to let motherfuckers come in and break in cars and shit like that. FedEx, that's some bullshit, FedEx. That's some bullshit. And like I said, I was planning on staying at FedEx when I came out here. But it wasn't, you know, it didn't turn out to be that way. But my thing is, that's some bullshit. And the people that was responsible for this dude's death needed some type of punishment.
Yep. And I'm gonna tell you something. At my job, at my job, we have folks from FedEx dropping off stuff every day, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, one of the drivers I told him about it. I said, I used to work I worked at FedEx at the World Hub for 15 years. He's like, for real? I told him, yeah. And you know, we kind of talked for a minute. He even asked me about this shit. He said, hey man, what did they do about that young man that died out of the plane? I said, they ain't did shit. He said, he asked me, he said, Craig, you bullshitting. And you know, because my name on my uniform. He said, Craig, you bullshitting. No. Mm-hmm. They ain't did nothing. That low team, the members of that low team murdered that boy, man. He said, man, that's fucked up. He said that news even got. He said, and he remembered when they said it. He said that news even got down the hill, got up to Huntsville, got up here to Huntsville, and after that, you didn't hear from it again. Mm-hmm. So that was the moment it did for me, and then also the politics that go on up in that motherfucker too. Like I said, because I'm gonna tell you something. There's so many motherfuckers up there that play politics so much they need they need to run the government.
Yeah, I agree.
Shit.
Totally agree with that.
And my bad for crunching, man. I'm eating these little kettle cooked flaming hot flaming hot potato chips. Motherfucker good as hell.
Do your thing with no shame, brother. But
yep.
my thing is that shit pissed me off, and the guy shouldn't have. He should have gotten killed, and there's no excuses for that. No matter how you swing it, man, he did not deserve to die like that. You know,
he was fresh out of high school too, and then I remember his mom posted on the group about how he was. He said he was a guy, he was just a fun guy. And then said when he would come home, he said that he would be angry. Hey, and I know about it too, because I'm gonna share a story about it in a minute, because the next question is a FedEx question related to me. Because said he would come home, he would be angry and stuff like that. You know,
the guy who got killed, he had children. He was there. He was a veteran of FedEx. The guy who got killed.
This is a young dude. He was a teenager.
Okay, my rant was at the guy who got killed that had children. He had two twins at Fair.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know you're talking about him.
Yeah, that's the rant I was going off on, but I didn't know you were talking about a whole nother subject.
Yeah,
a person, excuse me.
But man, this dude, said his mom said he had noticed a change now. Said he just wasn't happy anymore. He was talking about his job. And then said what really pissed him off was when he said he reported it to HR about what was going on. Said even the manager was bullying him. So because they can't see, the messed up part about it is if you go up to human resources with a complaint on an employee or the manager's gonna find out about it.
Yeah.
So instead of what they did, they kept fucking with him and stuff like that. They kept doing all kinds of shit, bullying and hazing them and all that. And
yeah.
And me, I'm not a fan of bullying, and I'm not a fan of hazing. But like I said, I was bullied back in basic training back in '98, from '97 to '98. So
yeah.
But man, I mean that did it for me. Like I said, that young man's murder out there 4 years ago, and then turn around the politics that went on, and not to mention, like I said, I got hitched. So those are the three reasons why I left FedEx for that, which is for good reason.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay. All right, the next question is to you, Jimmy. And it comes from what's his guy name? Eban. Okay. Eban wants to know. Scratch me, pinch me if you heard this. Pinch yourself if you heard this before. He said, I recently heard on ESPN, and as always, every year they pick Duke to win the national title in basketball. With the talent that they have on their roster. Do you agree or disagree with them on this pick?
Well, here's the thing. Duke is always competing in the ACC, so they're always in the running for a national title run. Now, whether or not that run ends early or it ends at the top is a whole nother ball game. Ever since Coach K made his first Final Four back in 1986 when they lost to the Louisville Cardinals, they have been a title contender year in and year out, on the exception of the 1995 season when he had to get that hip replacement surgery. That's the only time they weren't in competing mode, and that affected the team because Coach K wasn't the voice of the Duke Blue Devils, and that was the only time during his so-called tenure, even though it was an interim coach involved, that they didn't make the tournament since 1986. So with that being said, Coach K is the man. I mean, and this is coming from a guy who does not like Duke University. However, I respect the man, Coach K, and I want him to leave out have a legacy to leave out on. I hope he doesn't get fired. I hope no scandal comes up during that tenure. But I got to give credit where credit is due. He had one of the most complicated version of the motion offense out there. He took Bobby Knight's version of the motion offense and put it on steroids. I mean, he took a West Virginia team, aka Press Virginia, since Bob Huggins been over there, and he used the full court press against a fucking Bob Huggins team that wasn't expecting that shit. Bob Huggins was like, "What the fuck?" He was like, because that year, and this wasn't a talented Duke team. This is like one of the least talented Duke teams that he ever had, and he used the full court press and beat West Virginia with their own fucking full court press. So as long as Coach K sitting on that bench, they're in the running for a national title. I don't give a fuck if they have Putty Patroller type talent or if they have hood niggas, because he didn't prove that he can coach any type of talent. He didn't prove that he can coach a bunch of Catholic boys. He didn't prove he can mix up Catholic boys with hood niggas. He didn't coach them all, and that's the reason why I consider him the greatest coach of all time. I think he's better than John Wooden, in my personal opinion. The reason why I say that, because John Wooden had talent out on a limb,
right?
Compared to Coach K. Coach K had to literally go out and give people to a private school that you have to have a 3.0 grade point average to go to. You cannot get into Duke without a 3.0 grade point average. If you walk into Duke right now, them motherfuckers, if you don't have that grade, they're going to kick you out that door. But for him to recruit top 10 talent year in and year out in a school that you have to have a 3.0 grade point average, their acceptance rates is one of the lowest in the country out there. Let's not get it twisted. They have a very low acceptance rate. And a lot of times you don't go to Duke University. Duke invites you. When they send you a scholarship, they be like, okay, you come around they give you a time to come around that campus, and whether you playing football or any sport, you have to be invited to come to that campus.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just, well, I want to check out Duke University. No, sir. It does not work like that. You have to be invited to come to Duke, and they decide whether or not you're eligible to get in. You know what I'm saying? Do you have the grade point average? Do you have the SAT or the ACT score to get in that school? And for him to be able to do that year in and year out, as long as Coach K is alive and breathing and is still able to run his mouth with that old school toupee he got on, shit, he's
bro. Yeah, and no toupee, that's his hair.
Whatever it is, that ball spot, that big ass forehead and ball spot, long as he on that bench, Duke is a competitor. And this is coming from a person that can't stand Duke basketball. I can't stand Duke basketball, but I'm going to be real.
Ever since what they did in 1991 to one of the best teams in college basketball, I couldn't stand them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I agree with everything you said. You know, as long as Coach K, like you said, as long as Coach K is still there, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because shit, I can't top that argument there. Yep. Next question. This is to me from I know this is from a FedEx guy. No, I thought it was FedEx guy. That's my old one. Who is this?
Go ahead.
That's what I'm looking at, trying to make out the name because I'm writing it fast. Tasha from Memphis 10. She said, hello, Craig and Jimmy. She said, my question is addressed to Craig in his email. And she did email me. I know it was addressed to me. She said, lately, I recall a time where you and I, where we did work together at FedEx at one point, but it was brief. It's been stated by some of the peers that was on nice side and some on day side that several people have never liked you. Why do you think so? And also, what can you give? What reasons? Okay, I've been waiting for this question to be asked for long, so I'm gonna come on out with it. People never liked working with me, whether it was at FedEx or whether I was at UPS or FedEx or wherever. Mainly at FedEx was because of the fact that I'm difficult. I'm difficult when I'm right. Okay, but to some folks, I'm difficult to work with. I'll admit I can be, but as long as that job is done, you ain't got shit to complain about to me. Okay. I've had rampage, Tasha, I had rampage that would go back and complain to my pops talking about well, Craig ain't doing, CJ ain't doing this, and he being lazy and all this and all that. First of all, hell, you can't be, my mentality was you can't be no lazy than me. Well, I can't be no lazy than you do. You sit up in you sit up in the waist shack all day, talk shit about people. That was a shot at the rampages. But if you want to talk to me that in professional capacity, I just said it, I'm difficult. But in the real world, but when you get out in the real world, I'm 2-1. I guess I'm 2-100. You get my drift?
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Definitely feel you.
Because I tell an opinion like it is. I don't try to hurt people's feelings, which I don't. I mean, because they ask honest opinion, I just honestly tell them how I feel. It's like, hey, man, you kind of need to step it up. And see, unlike some of those sons of bitches out there, and I'm just calling for what they are, unlike some of those sons of bitches out there that work there, I display the one thing that they don't have, that's tact. I'll pull a guy aside and say, hey, man, look, they talking shit about you by saying you ain't doing this and doing that. Just kind of step your game up. Just step your game up. And that's all I do. I don't, and like I said, it's more politics. And that's why I said I'm 2-100. I don't kiss nobody's ass. I don't play politics on nobody, because I've seen rampages play politics with employees they didn't have no business playing politics on. So I can be the most difficult guy when I'm right.
Me too. If I know I'm right about something, I'm the same way, dude.
I'm not, because hey, it's a good question. I mean, do I apologize? And plus, but really, like I said, I'm 2-100. Let's just be real. I'll just be myself. And if people expect me to apologize for being myself, dream on, dreamer. Nice little brand new Heavy's plug there. Dream on, dream of, yeah. With me about change, about in that regard. So, Tasha, that's why people do. That's why folks don't like me, because I'm 2-100. I don't play politics. I don't conform to a lot of shit because, man, I'm gonna tell you, perfect example. LCK flight at the Mega Hub, at Ultra Hub about 5 years ago. Then they changed to CVG, but when it was LCK, it was just like folks was just all out for themselves. They won't bother to help nobody. If you ain't got the nice rims on your car and all this other shit, or if you got a house that's quote unquote paid for, because we all actually already know who all paid for it, they don't socialize. They don't want to socialize with me. I will admit about myself here. Other than Jimmy and everybody else on here who I socialize with, outside this live stream and outside whatever, I don't too much associate with anybody. I overheard somebody tell me recently that, hey, I don't even, quote unquote, I don't even like the nigga. Well, guess what? Take a number and get in line with the rest of them. But so Tosh, that's basically your answer in a nutshell. I'm not I wasn't everybody's favorite cup of tea. I look at it like this. Hey, you ain't gotta like me all you want to. but you ain't got much of a choice but to respect me. That's how I am.
Yeah, I agree, man. If they can't respect your mind and you speaking your mind, then they need to get out the kitchen, man.
Yep. Yep.
That's the way I see it.
Let's see. We got a toss up question. It's an NBA question. This popped in on email. What team will more likely not make the playoffs? Lakers or Cleveland?
Cleveland. Because I think the LA Lakers situation with LeBron, he got too much pressure to win a championship, much less not make the playoffs. So if he don't make the playoffs this year with the Lakers, Laker fans is gonna want LeBron to get his ass out of town. They're gonna be asking for that boy's head. So he's got to do something to bring back basketball in LA. And I'm talking about the LA Laker nation. You know what I'm saying? That's the heart and soul of basketball or sports in LA. You know, you got the Dodgers that people like, but they're the Dodgers. You got the Angels, but Angels is here and there. The Kings, the Ducks, you know, every team out there that won a championship, on the exception of the San Diego Chargers and the Rams, but they won their championship in St. Louis. So that don't count, you know, as a championship in LA. But what I will say is the Lakers are the standard for LA. People don't give a fuck about the Clippers. You know, they can get clipped for all they do. But the Lakers gotta bring it, show their ass. They gotta show signs of improvement in order for the Laker faithful to for number one, Luke Walton to keep his job, and number two, for LeBron's legacy to get straight. In this next 4 years, we don't expect him to win it this year. I mean, the Laker fans don't expect him to win it this year. But in those 4 years, he don't get a championship. Oh, his legacy is going to be tarnished. He got to bring at least one championship to the Lakers in order for his legacy to be solidified. I'm talking about among the Laker fans because his legacy is pretty much already set in stone in terms of losing to the NBA Finals, being a great player that lost multiple NBA Finals, that had to go to multiple championship games just to get 3 championships. That's already not a good look. But the thing is, he's got to win a championship there. That's my thing. He's got to win a championship. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Yeah, I gotta say, hate to say it, I gotta say Cleveland too. You know, on paper the star lineup looked good, but I think I can see them winning probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland win 43 games and still not make the playoffs.
And you know what? That's very well possible. That is very,
or do like what Denver did last year, won 46 games and didn't even get in.
Yeah.
So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But yeah, man, I agree with you on the Cleveland deal. Shit, I'm trying to see what. That's a little noise about. Excuse me on that one, y'all. Yeah, the Cleveland, man. They got some solid weapons. They got some solid weapons and stuff. You know, Colin Sexton. And like I said, you know, Billy Preston, he's playing right now. You know, Kevin Love got to get adjusted to being, you know, him being the man. I mean, because it's a long shot comparison. I mean, when Jordan left for a while, Scottie Pippen took over. And Pippen was holding his own.
Yeah. Pippen held his own. Pippen held his own, so it is what it is. So it is, you know, with Kevin Love. I mean, Kevin Love was the man at Minnesota with Michael B.
Yeah.
He was actually playing out of position. So my thing with that is my thing with that is I don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers, as I call them, the Cleveland Stradaliers, because they be straddling the fence of a championship ever since LeBron went to that hole. So my thing is I don't think they're gonna do shit. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And I think Tyronn Lue need to gracefully bow out that hole.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Shit, I did have another question here. Let's see, we got time to do one more. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Okay, ask 3 of the questions because I printed out one of them at work. Most of them at work. Oh, okay. Damn, I'm getting all the former FedEx questions. I'm getting all of them. This one's to me. It said, "Hello, Craig. Hello, Craig. Hello, Jimmy. I'm listening to all. Listen, they said they went and backtracked. Make a long story short, they went and backtracked and listened to all the episodes. We talked about mainly about the one about me getting fired for FedEx. Okay. Okay, young lady named Sylvia. Sylvia wants to know. It said that she heard, said she recently have heard and said that I used to work international at the international hub from 2004 to 2009. So she asked me about two managers. So she's asked me about two managers in particular. One guy by the name of Kevin, and the other guy by the name of James Eric Richardson. They call him Eric for short. She wanted to know what was my comparisons to them, and were they good managers? Let me damn see. I'm gonna start with the white boy first. I'm gonna start with Kevin first. Kevin was a good guy when I first started working for him, but at times he dribbled a lot. He if sincerity came in the form of a sink faucet, he would drip a lot of it. Kevin was okay, but Kevin wasn't my cup of tea as far on a lot of things because he only interacted with people who he wanted to interact. And like the only time he interacted with me was like worrying more about how my pops is doing. So and it's just like, well, damn, in my mind, Jimmy, I'm gonna be honest, it's like, fuck you, fuck you care for shit, Eric, on the other hand, I mean, I never worked with him. I never worked for him, thank God. But to my understanding, Eric was too smart for his own good and was also too smart for his own bad. Okay.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, that's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's crazy as cat shit. So
yeah, but I'm explaining. Well, he's just too smart for his own good. I just put that too smart for his own bad, but it in some ways does make sense. And therefore, what I learned from just by watching Eric and my pops had worked with him. Eric only catered to a certain amount of people to a degree. Now, Jimmy, I do remember you did say on there that black people can't be racist, right? They can only be prejudiced.
Yes, that's very true because there's no system to back up what black people do and stuff like that. So black people don't have a system behind them. But because in order to be ist, there has to be a system. There has to be a ism, which is where the word racism, anything with the ism, there has to be a system behind the ism. So go ahead and continue.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying Eric is racist, but I'm gonna tell you a comparison of something what I found out what he did. Okay, white boy got off he got back out of town, he came to work. Okay. So and I think he stayed a pretty good distance. I think he stayed about like, 30 minutes from the job. Because he wasn't gonna drive all the way back the way he lived. Okay. Now the young man forgot his ID. Okay, typical. Who didn't? I mean, I forgot mine plenty of times. And he called Eric and asked him, man. He said, "Hey, he didn't ask him. He told him. He said, "Hey, I need you to let me in." That's because I left my ID back home. I left my ID at home. Eric cussed the dude off by thinking that he was gonna request a day off just because he couldn't find his damn. Yeah, his ID. I just said it. Had a brain fart.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't find his ID, and that wasn't the case. So he told him, he said, man, he told the guy, and the guy told me about what he said flat out, and this is a quote, people. This is a quote. I ain't finna give you none of your personal days, whatever. He said, you better hop back in the car. You better hop back in that car and drive on out there 35 minutes, get your ID and come on back. So the guy told me, he said, Eric, if I get in that car and bring my ID, he said, I'm not coming back. He said, I'll just see you tomorrow. So Eric thought he was playing. Dude didn't show it. Dude didn't show it back. Dude didn't show it work. But what ultimately did Eric in, and then there's been some unsavory stories about Kevin also that I'll share to you privately on that one.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
But like I said, like with the white boy, I said, but the way Eric did stuff with a black person, that when this black lady lived all the way out there in Millington, and she forgot her stuff, he gave her a day off.
Yeah. Crazy. That is crazy, man.
But the way he got fired though was funny.
Really?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Now, various people told me this, and now I can tell the story now that my pops. And yes, folks, if I was slurring my words a bit, I was fighting sleep. Now I can tell the story now. There was this young lady that went in the office, went in the weight shack, and was telling Eric something about, hey, I'm about tired of this and that, giving him the business.
Mm-hmm.
And what? So, in classic Eric fashion, he gonna tell Superman, like you gonna tell Superman something what to do.
Yeah.
Like in classic Eric fashion, he gonna tell the girl, oh, you got a problem? I'm talking about some. Come on over here and sit on Dad. Come over here and sit with Dad. And he patting his lap and everything. Okay. Yeah. But he was also slick patting a certain area of that lap too. All right.
I know.
So when she said, no, that's all right, about a couple days later, that man get a complaint from the girl talking about some, hey, you violated and stuff like that, yada yada yada, and this and that. So he was trying to fight, and I think then a couple other women came forward and told the man about how he would treat them and shit like that. So originally the Me Too movement didn't start in 2018. That shit started 10 years ago. Okay. So so he got reported, he got fired, then he had nerve to call my pops and ask him about what he should do. He said, man, I don't know what he said, I can't help you there. I'm sorry. He said, I can't help you there. But the woman that he was telling that to about to sit on the lap or come over to daddy and shit like that. Lesbian.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
That's another. That's what you get. So
that's what his pervert ass get.
Yep, but with but now like I said, but I can tell the story now about what Pops had said though, because he said that Eric did call him up and was telling about what was going on and stuff like that. So Pops asked him, he said, you know, how you gonna tell you? He said, how you gonna explain to your wife for almost 30 years about how you lost your job?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's I'm waiting to hear that.
I'm dying to hear that shit.
So, yep. Well, that's oh yeah, I forgot to mention about Kevin. I'm sorry. Like I said, you know, Kevin was a good guy, but like I said, it was some unsavory stories about him, and he carried this little vibe like, "Hey, I don't only speak to me when you spoken to," you know. I'm like, man, ain't anybody gonna do that. So
yeah.
Yep. But with that being said, that's it on the questions. Anything else you'd like to add, Jimmy?
Oh man, I just say good show, man. Definitely go over and subscribe to my boy Craig Smith the second. Definitely check out my Patreon. Because I go hot fire on Patreon, and you know, YouTube been on some fuck shit, especially with some close associates of mine. They've been blocking comment and the most minute comments at that. So
yeah,
for my reason, they're cracking down on some shit, man, especially pages and stuff like that. So just be weary of what you type in there, because the Google police is like it's getting crazy out here, and people should not censor us because a lot of the shit we talking about is real shit. You know, why is it that you go in the comment sections where you see nigger, monkey this and beast this and all that shit, but you know, as soon as black people talk about racism, it's a problem. I mean, YouTube and Google need to do something about that and get their shit together. It is what it is with that is concerned. But anyway, great show. Go to my Patreon where I go uncensored, where I get raw and uncut, and also check out my website on the screen below as well. So, you got anything else, Craig?
No, man. Other than that, man, y'all gonna excuse me how I was talking on this show because I was fighting. I'm fighting off sleep that didn't creep up on me. So. But other than that, yeah, it definitely a good show. And you know, like I said, let's draw on something to come on back. But I got a treat, so I'm gonna announce something. Gonna do something different with some Let's Draw on Something episodes I probably plan because I know but since Jimmy be sleep on Sundays, here's the lineups I plan. Starting on the first Sunday in November, we're gonna do our little college football roundup as always, and talk about social issues. The following week is gonna Let's Draw on Something episode, whatever it's gonna be all about. Wait for it. This guy right here, who I'm a co-host of on this show, Jimmy J. Smooth, as I will interview my co-host on Let's Draw on Something, who also runs his own thing on Patreon and here on YouTube. I will be interviewing Jimmy J. Smooth as he would detail me all the humble beginnings of what it was like growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, and everything. And he's gonna go big, and I'm gonna ask him some questions. I ain't gonna get too personal with him, you know, and ask him the questions about, you know, like what made him move to Houston and what made Jimmy J decide to do the YouTube thing and why. So that's going to be coming up on the following Sunday and the usual wrap up. And I'm going to also announce and since it has been humbly requested, so hopefully before the end of the year, or before the Thanksgiving holiday, on Let's Draw on Something, the return of Davier Holmes. That's right, pending on him. Episode 3 of Let's Draw on Something was the most watched and most helpful for young artists when I had him on. And when I told him that the episode, the podcast episode with when I had him on was still the most watched, he even said that, yeah, he said he game to do it again. He's just gonna have to find the time. So yeah, the return of Davier Holmes on Let's Draw on Something is in November. Possibly the second or third Sunday, but yeah, more likely to be the third Sunday. Fourth Sunday, nothing. Cause it's gonna be gearing up for the Thanksgiving holiday, but best believe fifth Sunday it's gonna be on like pot neck bone. So it's a star-studded, nice little well-planned lineup. I'm pretty sure everybody will be chomping at the bit to hear the Jimmy J Smooth interview I'm gonna conduct on my show. And I'm pretty sure he's got some things to say. He's gonna share some life lessons, some stories, and whatnot. So I'm gonna try this little thing a little bit here because I haven't interviewed nobody on my podcast in a minute. So just stay tuned, y'all.
Most definitely. So it is what it is, man. So on behalf of Craig Smith, the second, born and raised 256. And if it's going to be making people look like shit when he get the fuck out the 256. This is your boy live and direct in absolute full effect out the 832. Y'all already know how Jimmy J Smooth do. Until the next broadcast of Live and Direct with Craig again and Let's Draw on Something. Good night, and y'all don't drink too much tonight. All right, peace out.
Peace out.